Hey, I'm RAIIVN, and today I'm going to be doing a song breakdown of my latest single, Nocturnal, which was made in Reaper. Cause I go nocturnal, yeah. It's not real, it's all inside my head. It's not real. So I decided to write this song around the idea of people having a hard time getting sleep at night. And so I decided to use the word nocturnal to represent that idea. Essentially, just like how an animal would stay awake all through the night. Um, this was supposed to be a trap beat at first, but then towards the end of production, I just decided I'm gonna stick with a Latino or reggaeton kind of vibe to it. Alright, so I guess we can start off with talking about the drums. The drums aren't too complicated. We have the essentials needed to get this beat going. We have a kick, a snare, clap, a rim, hi-hats, crashes, and some stuff from cymatics. And then we have some percussion over here. I mostly just used the percussion at the post chorus, but here's what we got for the drums first. Just a very simple beat there, and then over here after the chorus. Yeah, so we just have a little bit of a drum fill over here, and then we had a triangle perk over here just to really fill in that extra space that's left in the drums. And then together, let me just unsolo everything here. Hold on a second. Okay, and then together it should sound like this. So right here, this is where the drums get more of a chance to shine. Yeah, and then after that drop, we have a little bit of I would say reggaeton or Latino kind of beat to it. So just right here. We just need to top lining for a second. And that pretty much sums up all of the drums. This pattern will essentially just repeat on the second chorus, and then that's the summary of the entire drum structure for this song. All right, so let's just talk about the basses that I used for this song project. I only have two basses in this arrangement, and the first one is a Reese bass, and the second one is a pluck bass. So let's just take a look at the Reese bass over here. Essentially, what I used is a generic Reese preset, and this one is by Echo Soundworks over here, and it's called Vox Reese number 5. And so I used this one over here, and then I also raised a bit of the low end using Neutron Elements EQ. It doesn't matter what EQ you use. I just wanted to play around with this one for a bit. So I raised the low end, and this is what it sounds like. So the Reese is here to provide that low end ambience so that the buildup will sound like this. All right, and then moving on to the other bass which we have. This is the pluck bass, so it also uses serum as well. All right, so I'm using this lead preset called Coolio by Cymatics. I tweaked it a little bit, and then I plugged it into this plugin here called Compactor, which is by Kilohertz, and I use that just to have this instrument sidechained by the main kick. And then I just use an EQ. This is TDR Nova. I just turned down the brightness over here so I can provide some room for the lead vocals and all the other vocal harmonies to stand out a bit more, especially during the drop and the post chorus. And then I just raise a bit of the low end to emphasize the bass a bit more. And then, just to make sure that the bass cuts through, I used Shaperbox 3 for its multi-band stereo imager. Yes, so Shaperbox 3 does have a multi-band stereo imager, and this is the one right here called Width. And I just to let it affect the low end, which I set at 120 hertz. So all the frequencies below 120 hertz are going to be affected, and I brought this all the way down here so I can keep those frequencies at mono, so I can make sure that the bass can cut through. And this is what it sounds like on its own. And this is what it sounds like with all the other instruments on. And yeah, so that pretty much sums up the bass section of this project. And let's just move on to the other parts of the song. All right, so there's quite a lot to talk about with the vocals, but I'm going to try and keep it as short as possible. So we're just going to start off with the lead vocal first, which is over here.
Yeah, I know I should be resting, but the clock just keeps on ticking. My eyes just keep wandering left and right. I know they're not gonna shut because I'm nocturnal. La 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 la. I tell myself it's not real.
All right, so this one here is using Isotope Nectar 3. Hold on a second. It's going to load just a little bit. Come on. Load, 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 load. There we go. So this is plugged into Isotope Nectar 3. And I essentially just use this for the harmony section, which is just going to be later in the song. If you see this automation curve over here, that's where the harmony is being used.
Don't take me back to that broken home. My mind can take another episode. Let me lay back and kill all of the light.
And the reason why I use the harmony there is so that we can, make it thicker for this section here. If you have all the instruments on.
Don't take me back to that broken home. My mind can take another episode. Let me lay back and...
And personally, I know that this sounds dry.
Yeah, I know I should be...
But for the context of this, I feel like it worked. So I just left it the way it is.
Yeah, I know I should be resting, but the clock just keeps on ticking. My...
Okay, so that's essentially what the lead vocals are. And let's just move on to the harmonies and the ad-libs. All right, so for the ad libs and the harmonies, so we have this purple track over here, and we have several tracks over here as well. Hold on, let me just scroll it out so that you can see that. So over here is our ad libs, and then over here, this is part of the build up, and we're using some of these over here in the drop as well. So let me just show you what that sounds like.
'Cause I go nocturnal. It's not real, it's all inside my head.
Okay, so this was originally part of the lead vocal track, which we played earlier, but I moved it to a separate track because, like, I wanted to mix it differently from this one, especially to fit in with the instrumental ambience of the other elements of the track, so that it would fit in like this.
'Cause I go nocturnal. It's not real, it's all inside my head.
Okay, so this is our lead vocal for the build up, and then we have our other harmonies over here. So I'm gonna mute it. These are essentially in unison, and one of them is just at a lower octave. Okay, so one track here is panned to the left and the other is panned to the right, and so that way we can really fill up the space and make it sound more thicker and more crowdy. And then we have like this one over here, which is just lower in octave. So essentially the format is turned down a lot. And then we have our ad libs over here. I wanted to provide like some jungly vibes to it, so I felt that maybe trying to sing this stuff would make it work. All right, and then we have those playing again over here in the second verse section. It's pretty much the same idea. All right, and then we just repeat it over here for the second time. All right, that pretty much sums up the vocals, and let's just move on to the next section. All right, so we're just gonna talk about my favorite part of the song real quick, and that would just probably be the end over here, which really just ties everything together. So the lead vocal over here.
It's not really so inside my head.
It sounds like this.
It's not really so inside my head.
So that alongside the build-up, those two are probably my favorite parts of the song. And that pretty much sums up this song breakdown of Nocturnal. So, Nocturnal is now available on Spotify and all other major streaming platforms. And this is my first... This is the first release I've made using Reaper. It's a bit finicky to set up, but once you get it going, it's really nice to use. And I've been using FL Studio and Ableton for more than 10 years now. So this is something that keeps me going as well, alongside the other two DAWs that I have. So other than that, if you do get a chance, it would mean a lot if you could give Nocturnal a listen, just so that I can essentially, show my work to you and stuff, right? And if you enjoyed this video, feel free to subscribe. If you don't want to, that's perfectly fine. Doesn't matter to me. It's okay. Other than that, we're pretty much done here. So have a good one. Bye bye.
I should have been sleeping, but